Here we are.
So, what's up?
Yahtzee. Somehow August is over. I'm not really sure what happened to that month, but it just got deleted.
Yep.
I mean, it's...
Nice thing is when you don't have kids at home, the seasons take on a different shape, you know? There's a whole, as you know, it's kind of a scrum for the back to school stuff, and then your schedule changes and whatever. And like our schedule doesn't change in the slightest. We walk around. The only difference is now there's buses driving around in the morning, you know?
You're more than welcome to come over and do my kid's homework. Or I should say check her homework. If you'd like, you're more than welcome to.
Oh, and you're more than welcome to pay for now both of my children's desires to continue education past the normal 4-year college thing.
Oh, look at the time. Look at the time.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know what's going on there. I never saw either one of them as particularly academic enthusiast, but here we are.
Maybe their lack of real world enthusiasts. They just don't want to join the...
Yeah, that makes sense for their generation, actually. Says the old man on the porch, shaking his cane at them. I didn't even finish college, so what am I talking about? But anyway.
Oh, here we are. Here we are. There's... I don't know if you want to call it new news or whatever. September 21st, more than just surface. More than just... Maybe you could say it scratches the surface. That should have been the name of my book, Scratch the Surface.
When this news first came out, the first story I saw was something like Microsoft to hold Surface event in September. I was like, all right. And then I looked at my email and I got invited to a Microsoft special event. Didn't say anything about Surface. And I was like, well, it makes sense, right? And that was the speculation. What else are they going to talk about? Because I was like, Windows 11, absolutely. Windows 12, maybe. Probably focus on AI, right? And then the more detailed invite comes out, and and it's not. It sounds like one of those things like we've been to these events where you kind of walk around like a showcase, and there are tables, and you can play with different things. I think it might be a little forward-leaning, which maybe suggests some hint of Windows 12 AI something. I don't know.
Windows 12 happening September 21st. Paul Thurrott's guaranteeing it.
Yeah.
Written in contracts.
Yeah. So they're not going to live stream it, though, which I think is a little weird.
Oh, they're not?
No.
Oh.
I assume they will make a video of the event available afterwards, as they do. But we are not allowed to like record anything or whatever. I assume we can write. I'm sure you'll see some live blogging occurring. But
So knowing that, I think maybe you're a little bit more right then, because maybe they're going to show off some AI stuff, let's just say in Paint, which has been rumored. And it's, Paul, has Microsoft ever shipped things a little prematurely? They don't always work right. And
I don't know, Brad. I have no idea what you're talking about.
What's going on with this thing? Why?
Certainly not in the modern era.
My little Stream Deck was like not seated. Anyways,
you said Paint, and I just went to go look at this. They did like a modern refresh of Paint a year or two ago, and they completely screwed it up. And what I've seen over the past month or two is it's so weird how apps get updated in Windows now, or Windows gets updated, because you see different things on different computers. And I wrote an article about this at the time. I was like, they completely screwed this app up. Aside from the fact that it's just white and it didn't support dark mode, just like all the keyboard shortcuts don't work. Actually, let me bring that thing up again. And now, okay, so the big one that I do is I'll bring an image into Paint, and I'll resize it, and that's Control E. And when you Control E into image properties, in the old days, the width box was selected, and I would just Control E and start typing that number. That number is for me is always 1066, but whatever, it doesn't matter. And when they redid the modern thing, they were so proud of it, no dark mode. This box would come up, and you would have to tab 5 times to get to that box, which I have developed muscle memory over 20 years plus of that working that way. They've completely screwed it up. So that app was just updated. I noticed that on the computer in the other room. You said Paint, so I checked it here. It has been updated. So now it supports dark mode. Okay, finally, 2 years later, whatever. And when you Control E, which I had seen on some computers but not others, it's in the width box now. So the width box is selected the way it used to be forever. So it's almost back. The keyboard shortcuts related to the menu system still don't work. The ribbon is kind of fake in the sense that you can't actually minimize it. It doesn't have tabs, so it's really just a big, thick toolbar, But it's like, this is like what we have to accept now. It's like, okay, they completely screwed the pooch in this thing, ruined it, and now they brought back a couple of things. And you're like, you know what? Okay, it's not what I wanted. It's not exactly as good as it was before, but I accept it. And you know what? That's what Windows 11 is, right? They put the thing out. It's half complete. There's a bunch of missing features. People bitch and moan about it, and they bring back some of them. And now it's what, 3 years later? Is it 3 years? It's 3 years, isn't it? 2 years. 2 years. 3, 2, whatever it is.
3,
And I'm like, you know what?
2, yeah, whatever.
Okay, fine. This is like, it's like the I don't know what you call this form of what do you call this, customer support or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's like beat them down and get them to accept less, right? You beat them down so badly that they're like, oh, just bring it back 50% of the way, and they're like, yeah, all right, that was the goal all along, you know.
You know what they should announce, and this would fit right into their AI stuff. Just follow me. A mobile app for a phone. They could put an object on a pedestal. You could walk around it. It would scan it in 3D.
You got to stop doing this, man.
And then you could bring it into Paint and manipulate it.
No, not into Paint, into a new product, Brad, called 3D Paint.
Oh, right. This is what I appreciate about Paul. Really appreciate about Paul. That was a very niche, very specific reference to a very specific app that Microsoft never shipped but showed off on stage. Paul, do you know what year that was?
Well, yeah, I can guess because it was Windows 10 Mobile and it was Windows 10/Windows 10 Mobile integration. So it was Creators Update. So I'm going to guess 2016.
Bang on. Like,
oh, was it? Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. So somewhere there.
And it was in March 30th of 2017 that they announced that, yeah, it's not going to ship.
Oh, that they said it wasn't going to ship. Yeah. So this was a Creators Update thing. And and by the way, it's time for us as fans of this platform to move on. That said, Windows Phone definitely, as everyone knows, had some really innovative stuff going on. And it is entirely fair. You see Apple do this all the time with their own platforms and ecosystems. This kind of cross-device integration stuff and this notion of, as dumb as it was, this notion of we're going to have an app platform, like an app platform, that runs across these devices. And so apps can tailor themselves for like a phone or for the big screen. You know, Office, remember, was going to be a modern app. This is, I mean, they did it. It didn't work and the phone failed and all that stuff. But I mean, at a high level, it's a good strategy. Like it's now that particular feature that you were just joking about, I don't think would have benefited too many people, frankly.
Oh, I don't think so either. But that's not the point, Paul Thurrott.
No, I know.
The point is they showed this thing on stage that it's coming.
Listen, there were a million things they showed on stage. Remember the kid with the soccer ball kicking the fireball through the thing and the dinosaur? Yeah. You know,
Groove Music Maker.
There were lots of there you go. There were lots of initiatives there in the Creative Update. We're all creators. The dumb thing is, I made fun of it. We are all creators at a very high level, right? Yeah. We're creating something here. We write, we do whatever we do. You work at a software company, creators. You know, there's all different ways to kind of frame that. But whether you're an office productivity worker, an architect, a graphic artist, or a software developer, or an actual artist, or whatever it is, most of us are in some way a creator. And there was not a bad focus. It's just that the implementation was so bad.
Sure, I agree with that.
There's almost a book. Well, I'm sure there are books written about this generally, but there's a book to be written about this or a story to be told about this with Microsoft. The number of times they got the idea right, and then it just didn't matter. And then other people kind of
or whatever the day before, Windows Media Center.
There you go. Yeah, see, it's so easy to come up. We'll come up with one every single day. You know, it's too bad. Yeah. Obviously, they land on some things that stick. The cloud thing seems to be doing pretty well.
That one has.
But there are a million small examples, and for those of us who most enthusiasts tend to focus on the consumer side, the individual side. Those innovations, those lasting impacts are fleeting. There aren't that many, unfortunately.
Well, it's one of those things. When Microsoft does find a winner, like the cloud, as an example, Office, Windows, like they don't just win. They absolutely
look at Teams. Yeah. I mean, look what they've done to Teams. Yep. Teams and Microsoft Edge, I would say, are two great examples of things. That Edge is not successful like Teams is, obviously, but where you can see Microsoft over trying, and it's like there was a vision for Edge in the beginning where it was literally it was called Spartan, which is, yes, a Halo code name, but or a Halo name, but also a indication of minimalism and, you know, whatever. And the idea was, we're going to take this big pig of a thing, we're going to strip it down, take out all the Google nonsense and tracking, and make this beautiful thing. And you remember this, I bet. In the early days of Edge, this is pre-Chromium. What were the big advertisement for Edge was battery life over Chrome, right? And then they went to Chromium, and it's like, well, we don't talk about that anymore.
Yeah.
You know, it's too bad, because I feel like Teams and Edge would benefit from what I think of as the Visual Studio Code model, which is that you can turn this into anything you want with a set of extensions that are integrated into it. But if you don't want any of it, you have this beautiful stripped down lightweight thing that is exactly what you want. You can kind of build your own product out of it. And I really think that's the right model for this kind of software. It's true for Word and Excel. It's just that they're so old, it would be kind of, you'd have to re-architect them. But you started over with these products. Why wouldn't you just get this right? It's too bad.
Mm-hmm. They also have a pretty short attention span for a lot of stuff.
They do. Well, that's there was a guy on Twitter who was very upset about this, but he showed me a screenshot of a, you know, if you go, like, the app doesn't matter. Let's bring up Media Center. Like, if you go into a modern app in Windows today, and you go to settings, which is where we're in this app, because it's somewhere different everywhere. Settings is not a dialogue anymore, right? It's just a new view. It replaces it doesn't change the window per se, but it changes part of the window to show you the settings. And then you turn it off, or you go to some other view, and that thing just goes away. It's just one view. And he was very upset about this. And he said, the settings, or, you know, or the about box or whatever it is, should be in its own window. And okay, on the one hand, you're old, and seriously, things change. No, but I mean, that's just ridiculous. But I was like, listen, this thing will be over in 15 minutes. Don't worry about it. This will change again. So I don't actually see it going back to a window per se. Although, you know, if you follow Microsoft stuff, you know, one of the big advances in UWP, or in 3 years in, was, oh, look, you can have other windows now.
Yep.
You know, so what comes around goes around. We'll see. You know, bell-bottom jeans are probably in again.
Bell-bottom jeans, boots with
you know,
the
maybe
fur.
about dialogues will be in again. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll find out. I guess maybe we'll find out on the 21st, considering I'm guessing they're probably going to have some blog posts and normal stuff that they do.
I think we're going to see a range of stuff, and well, partly because they said that, but well,
good.
You know, I'm not like I'm Nostradamus or something, but I mean, I do feel like a range of things that might happen over time, not just a range of capabilities across Microsoft 365, Windows, you know, whatever, but rather almost a roadmap-y kind of a thing, like that Steve Batiste segment at Build, where, you know, in the beginning we have Copilot, so these things that are next to each other, but the next phase is the AI is in there. It's part of the core UI, and this actually does speak to a coming generation of apps that will be different, right? And maybe there will be a new app platform. Maybe it's some kind of AI SDK or something, you know?
Maybe you're on. That seems like more like a build thing, though. But
no, I know. I don't mean to say that they're going to, sorry, I didn't mean, they're not going to announce that next month. What I mean is just that that's what will enable this next generation of apps. So Microsoft will maybe show off what this might look like, right? We know what a Copilot looks like. It's this thing on the side. So what might it mean to Microsoft Word or Windows or whatever to have that stuff just in there? Maybe we'll get a little peek, and maybe it will change over time. I don't know. It's still going to be on my headstone. I don't know.